Good day, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. The Independent National Electoral Commission has asked the ruling All Progressives Congress to replace Audu Abubakar, its deceased candidate in the governorship election in Kogi State, with another candidate in a supplementary election to be held in the 59 polling units where the governorship elections was cancelled. This will be done in order to continue with the supplementary election. Audu died just as INEC was collating the results of the November 21st election in which the late APC candidate was leading. The election was eventually ruled inconclusive by INEC. INEC has now announced a supplementary election which will be held on December 5th, 2015. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Abubakar Malami, has asked the All Progressives Congress would have to substitute its candidate for the purpose of the supplementary elections in Kogi State. Malami spoke in Abuja on the backdrop of the political stalemate created by the sudden death of the APC governorship candidate Abubakar Audu before the election was declared inconclusive. The AGF, who was a guest of honor at a seminar organized by the Nigerian Law Forum Commission, said INEC would conclude the election as scheduled. He also cleared the air that there would be no need for a fresh election in the state, as being canvassed by a section of political and judicial analysts. The All Progressives Congress APC has announced that a fresh primary election will be conducted in Kogi State to pick a replacement for late Abubakar Audu. Speaking with reporters at the National Secretariat of the party in Abuja on Tuesday, the chairman of the party, John Oyegun, said the decision to hold a fresh primary was taken after the APC received a letter from INEC asking it to replace late Abubakar Audu.
Things should develop from this stage on, and he has made a pronouncement to the effect that all that is required is for the APC to go through the processes of providing a substitute to our late mourned candidate. The implication, of course, being that thereafter, the supplementary elections to conclude the process of electing a new governor for Kogi State will then be put in place. So as a party, we are going to proceed with the process of organizing primaries to provide a substitute candidate to our late beloved Prince Abubakar Audu.
Not everyone supports the call for an APC substitute candidate for the purpose of the supplementary election in Kogi State. Nigeria's main opposition party, the PDP, has kicked against that decision. In a statement by the opposition party spokesperson Ulisa Metu, the party said it was, quote, shocked that INEC, a supposedly independent electoral umpire, could allow itself to succumb to the antics of the APC by following the unlawful directive of an obviously partisan AGF to substitute a candidate in the middle of the ballot process, end of quote. The PDP was reacting to the advice by Abubakar Malami, the Attorney General of the Federation, who stated that the APC can substitute its late candidate Audu Abubakar in the Kogi State governorship election. The opposition party also asked Malami to immediately vacate his office for hurrying and misleading the INEC into arriving at that decision. The PDP described the AGF statement on the issue as attacks on Nigeria's democracy. The Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Chuku Buratai, has appealed to the members of the general public to assist the Army with valuable information which could help in its bid to win the war against the deadly Islamic sect Boko Haram. He made the appeal in a meeting with the Benue State Governor Samuel Otom as part of his efforts to ensure that the Army meets the December deadline set for it by President Muhammadu Buhari. President Buhari, since assuming office, has made defeating the terrorist sect Boko Haram his #1 priority, giving all service chiefs a deadline of December to end the insurgency. The United States has issued a global travel warning for its citizens amid possible increased terrorist threats. The State Department on Tuesday in Washington said current information suggested that militants with Boko Haram, ISIS, Al-Qaeda and other militant groups continue to plan attacks in several regions across the world. The alert is said will remain in place until 24th of February 2016. The release did not, however, provide specifics of any planned attacks or threats and mentioned no specific regions, except to note attacks this year in France, Nigeria, Denmark, Turkey and Mali. Over the past few weeks, dozens of people have been killed in different attacks carried out by terrorists. Boko Haram in Nigeria has bombed different locations, with the latest being in Yola and Kano State. We'll take a short break now. When we come back, we'll look at business and international stories. Please don't go away.
Every day, every hour, and every minute, news break in Nigeria. Things happen so fast, it's most times difficult to track and comprehend them. But that's what we do right here on TV360. 2015, would you want to come back again?
It's like asking Jesus Christ if he knew he was going to die, will you want to come back as the savior of the world again?
We do not just help you track the stories, we break them down, explore all the angles, analyze the issues so that you can fully comprehend the stories and use them to make the right decisions.
Welcome back. You're watching TV360 News now. The Central Bank of Nigeria has cut monetary policy rates from 13% down to 11%. This was disclosed by the CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, at the end of a two-day rate-setting meeting in Abuja. The CBN also cut cash reserve ratio from 25% down to 20%. This is Nigeria's first monetary policy rate cutback in about 3 years.
The MPC voted to 1. Reduce the CRR from 25% to 20%. 2. Reduce the MPR from 13% to 11%. 3. Change the symmetric corridor of 200 basis points around the MPR to an asymmetric corridor of plus 200 basis points and minus 700 basis points around the monetary policy rate.
Total exports of Nigerian crude oil are expected to rise by nearly 10% to a 3-month high in January, according to initial loading programs. Nigeria's export plan for January includes a total of at least 61.8 million barrels of oil, or 1.99 million barrels per day, the highest since October this year. The oil will face an uphill battle to find outlets as a growing list of regions hosted unsold cargoes. Nigerian State Oil Company (NNPC) recently lowered official selling prices for the country's oil to the lowest in more than a decade as the fight for the market share and millions of unsold barrels took their toll. Crude oil futures fell on Wednesday as investor focus shifted back to a deep global supply glut and away from the threat of escalating violence in the Middle East. Brent fell 48 cents at $45.64 a barrel, reversing brief gains earlier in the session, while U.S. crude fell by 37 cents at $42.50 a barrel. OPEC is set to meet to review its policy months after a shift in the organization led member countries in 2014 to defend market share against competing supplies rather than cut output to prop up prices. On the international scene now, a Russian pilot who went missing after his jet was shot down by Turkey while taking part in airstrikes over Syria has been picked up by the Syrian army. Russia says the pilot is alive and well at a Russian airbase in Syria. The plane's second pilot and a marine involved in a rescue were killed in the incident on Tuesday. Turkey said the jet had strayed into an airspace, but Russian President Vladimir Putin says the plane was flying over Syrian territory. Tensions have escalated between Russia and Turkey over the incident. Meanwhile, President Putin has described the downing of the plane as a stab in the back and warned of serious consequences. Protesters took to the streets of Chicago late Tuesday after police released a graphic dashboard camera showing an officer shooting 17-year-old Laquan McDonald. McDonald was killed in October 2014. U.S. officials say he was shot 16 times by the police officer. McDonald was a black teenager, while the U.S. officer who shot him, Jason Van Dyke, is a white cop. Officer Jason Van Dyke has been charged with the first-degree murder in the killing. Police have, however, accused the teen of holding a knife and refusing to drop it. After the video was released, several hundreds of people held a march in Chicago blocking traffic. Police use of excessive force against African Americans has been the subject of nationwide protests for months. Nigerian under-23 national team coach Samson Siasia has named his 21-man squad for this month's African under-23 Cup of Nations in Senegal. The Dream Team's sixth manager handed out a surprise invitation to the 2015 FIFA Under-17 World Cup highest goal scorer, Victor Osimhen. The 70-year-old was rewarded for his historic performances in Chile. Siasia has also recalled Liverpool striker Taiwo Awoniyi after he missed September's All-African Games in Congo due to club commitments. The Dream Team 6 were drawn with Egypt, Mali and Algeria in Group B of the African Under-23 Cup of Nations. The tournament will be held from November 28 to December 12, 2015, with the top 3 teams qualifying to represent Africa at Rio 2016. European football governing body UEFA has announced a 40-man shortlist of players who have been nominated to feature in its Team of the Year awards. The shortlist features players largely from last season's semi-finalists, with defending champions Barcelona having the highest number of 8 players. Runners-up Juventus have 6 players, with fellow semi-finalists Bayern Munich and Real Madrid having 5 and 4 players respectively. The Premier League contributes only 5 players: Manchester City keeper Joe Hart, teammates Sergio Aguero and Kevin De Bruyne. Then Chelsea's Eden Hazard, rounding up is Arsenal's Alexis Sanchez. The shortlist features 4 goalkeepers, 12 defenders, 12 midfielders and 12 strikers. We've come to the end of news now. Thank you very much for joining us. I am Thelma Okoro.